I absolutely believe in that being an entrepreneur is much more than building a business or starting a business. That's very important and very challenging. Most of us will never do that. However, most of us will have an opportunity to be entrepreneurs in a number of different settings, whether that's a company or a academic setting or various other situations. And it's really a mindset of always trying to take ownership for the project, pushing the boundaries, looking for novel ways of doing things. And I think that with that level of energy and vigor, you immediately perform at an excellent level and really create opportunities for yourselves, because you end up excelling, and opportunities present themselves to take on new opportunities, if you will. So I do believe that there are many ways to sort of exercise entrepreneurship, whether you're in an actual business or in a business that's a lot larger than you, where you're just a part of many moving parts. One of the life lessons I learned from the evolution of my career, which started out as a clinical pharmacist in an academic setting, moving on to the early wave of biotech in the late 80s, early 90s, then going to a large pharmaceutical company, and then having the opportunity to actually join a venture capital firm. I think staying open to possibilities was a key factor, and I think that one of the lessons was the power of networking and learning that that's actually not just a nice to have, but it's absolutely critical in our industry. I also learned not to limit myself by sort of the traditional possibilities that your degree offers. You know, as a pharmacy graduate, the three career tracks were retail pharmacy, hospital pharmacy, or work in industry as a sales rep. And I chose to do neither. I ended up doing a number of things that were really very novel for pharmacists, and hopefully they open the door for other people for that to be considered acceptable in those roles. So I think staying open, not dismissing possibilities by assuming that you would never be able to do that, and really tapping into the tremendous resources through networking. And that can actually imply people in your group, peers as well, not just people you report to. I actually look at it from a competence perspective rather than a female versus male perspective. I've never been able to relate to ability to succeed or fail because of gender or any other criteria like that. So for me, it's really about excellence, about embracing opportunity, and about doing the best I can, and not focusing too much on whether I'm succeeding or failing because I'm a woman. And I found that opportunity presented itself. I find that too much focus on that actually can give one a chip on the shoulder, and I've seen the syndrome in many people. It's actually not particularly useful or attractive. So I'm not aware that I had less opportunity by being a woman, but perhaps certain career choices are made by women because of work-life balance and things like that. But I definitely think that the opportunity is there. I mean, I think drug development is higher risk than it has ever been. That is because the cost has become incredibly high and unsustainable, frankly. And that is due to a lot of novel science, which is very high risk, and coupled with a level of infrastructure that large pharmaceutical companies have aggregated over time, which is very difficult to carry. And that also introduces a certain level of inertia and somewhat difficulty in having to make quick adjustments and fine-tuning in terms of how they develop and advance projects. So I do think it's tougher than before, and I do think that the entire large pharmaceutical industry is going through a very cathartic process of trying to figure out how to change the model. There's certainly downsizing of many areas that traditionally have been heavily staffed, like sales and marketing, but we really see it across the board. It's unclear what the final answer is, but it has to be something that encompasses some of the entrepreneurial spirit of small companies that are able to move much quicker, but of course they don't have the resources that a large company has. Well, I think the venture capital traditionally doesn't invest in large pharma, even though we often have a dialogue with large pharma when they decide to spin out certain assets they decide not to develop internally. So that is certainly the type of dialogue, but it's not the more common type of investment. I think that when you look at the small private companies that a company like many venture firms invest in life sciences, obviously we look at the quality of the science, the risk level, which aggregates all the different assets they have, and the quality of the management team is absolutely crucial. And obviously it all needs to tie together in a business model that's viable, that has the potential to bring a return to the investor, because we have an obligation obviously to our investors. I think the Entrepreneurship Week is a great it's a great effort. I think it's necessary, and I think it simply recognizes a need that has existed for some time. Given that we are living in very dynamic times when a lot of industries are going through the soul-searching process and new ways of doing things. So I think the timing is ripe, and I think that the audiences are ripe and very receptive to this type of input and this kind of cross-fertilization between all of us.